Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Kerfuffle Spotlight today. Tremendously excited to be talking to Matt Nicol again. From he was so popular yesterday, we had to have him straight back on the show. And Joel Smith, how are you? Just prior to lockdown again, Joel, welcome from sunny Australia.
Thank you, Simon. Yes, we've got 4 hours. We're going back down into lockdown for 6 weeks. So
okay.
Everyone's been running around like a headless chook the last 24 hours, just trying to get as much sunshine and cover as many kilometres as they can before we're locked down.
Okay, keep it light, Joel. Keep it light. We're apart from Leicester, everyone's smiling over here.
Well, the pubs opened for us 3 weeks ago. So I hear the pubs just opened a couple of days ago in the UK. So fingers crossed this doesn't happen over there in the next couple of weeks. I'm blaming the pubs.
Well, many do. And look, these bags under my eyes are testimony to the fact that they've been open since Saturday. Guys, okay, so really excited, obviously, to talk to you today because we've spent a long time, obviously, in lockdown talking about technology, for the moment, and there's nothing more relevant as far as I can see it as what you guys are doing at Gavl here. So just so we can get a little bit of background, Joel, obviously, you're the creator of it, and Gavl, talking about live stream. The benefits of live streaming. Matt, you are the unsurprisingly, because you're at the forefront of so much technology these days, you've adopted it very quickly as well. Do you want to just give us a bit of background, Joel, about first of all how you created it, and then we'll touch on some of the points about obviously why it's the perfect product for the moment.
Yeah, so we created Gavl a couple of years ago, really just for the Australian New Zealand market. For those who don't know, the primary form of sale over is the auction process. And so we just felt there was a gap in the market in terms of being engagement, I guess. It was the auction process over here. You had to be attend physically. What happened during lockdown is pretty much, all industry, Australia, the world in real estate pretty much stopped overnight. And what we found that the biggest issue probably wasn't the transaction itself, it's just engagement. We're all in lockdown. How are we going to engage buyers? How are we going to engage sellers? And how are we going to build that rapport? And like a lot of platforms, you start off as one thing and you pivot into another. And I guess, we were fortunate enough that we effectively Gavl's a live communication and engagement platform. So we did a little pivot pretty much overnight and then transformed from auctions into viewings. And that's sort of, I think, Matt was one of our first applicants in terms of, you probably call him, and watching some of the Australian viewings. And he reached out, I think, within 24 hours to see if we can bring it to the UK.
Okay, we won't talk about how we managed to beat me to it because that would destroy the whole myth of me being a prop tech legend. But Matt, just give us a clue as to what really caught your eye. Were you actually actively looking for this, or did it kind of fit in your inbox just at the right time?
No, I was. I follow Josh Vegan as do many others, and Property Academy as well. I'm one of the members, and we were talking in our smaller groups about how you could kind of reinvent and reimagine coming back into the business. And I've been watching some of Josh's webinars, and one of them was talking about how agents had started doing the live streaming. And, I knew there was UK Facebook Live being used and stuff like that, but that wasn't really what I was attracted to. I wanted something that was really kind of purpose built for a estate agency that would work for me, collect the information. So I was surprised at the speed in which Joel came back to me because I thought it was a bit of an ambitious ask just to get this tech over to the UK. But he did. He reached back out real quick, and we set up a Zoom call. I explained why I wanted it, what we were going to do with it, and it was a perfect fit. And COVID-19 gave us chance as a business to really kind of reflect and review what we were doing well and what we needed to do better. And we were wasting so much time on viewings, and that's kind of one of those things that I think we've now found we're getting some time back, and obviously we could be more effective by having that time back. So. I'm glad I sent the email, and I'm glad he responded so quickly.
Okay, and give us an idea as to what you think. What's the problem ultimately that Gavl, the live stream app, is solving? Give us give people who aren't aware of it what is it it's actually doing?
If that's aimed at me, I mean, I can speak from my business point of view, but I know Joel's actually asked the other UK agents what they've kind of found with it as well. But for me personally, it has been that time spent out of the office on viewing. So we've been able to save and be more efficient with our marketing of properties. So live stream first generates a good number of viewings. The live stream takes place. We then collect and have all that information from our applicants. We contact all of those, and then we organise physical viewings. And our numbers have gone, I mentioned it yesterday in the PropTech 3.0, but our numbers have gone from 14 to 1, there was this time last year, down to 6 to 1. So like instant measurable, like we have that saving. And that's for me, you know, really the nuts and bolts of it. That is my biggest win out the back of using Gavl. There's many other things, and you know what clients say about it, and all those bits and pieces. But the biggest thing is time.
And I mean, the key thing there's got to be, Matt. Are you still doing the same amount of business per se? You know.
Yeah, I think everyone's finding. Obviously, we're in a busier market now than we were kind of this time last year because Brexit was being talked about, and that's kind of been and gone. And there seems to be a pent-up demand. So we've sold 8 more than we did last year, and we've let 10 more than we did last year. So it's pound for pound. I mean, it is a busier time anyway, and to have reduced our viewing figures from 909 down to 453 is fantastic for us to still be able to do more than we did last year. Obviously, Rishi Sunak's going to come out with something this afternoon about stamp duty. It could be even busier this afternoon and tomorrow morning. So I'm glad that I'm in a position where I can bang a load of live streams out within 24, 48 hours, get all my staff out doing them. And I haven't got to go do 16 viewings on one property. I can have a person out there for 20 minutes and back in rather than out there for 2 hours and then back in. So, yeah, I'm hoping he does make the right decision this afternoon. It comes into force straight away.
And I mean, if the key thing we were talking about on the PropTech show yesterday was that, you know, ultimately technology has to be about doing more with less, doesn't it? And I mean, that's absolutely knocking it. You know, that's front and center for what you're talking about here, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, there's loads of other bits. The staff love it, and the clients love it as well. So consumers, the applicants or the renters, that they prefer it because they're not traveling to 4 different properties to find out. They can stay at home safely, COVID-19 right now, but they could stay at home. They don't have to travel. And some people have said, I'm really glad I saw the live stream because on the Matterport tour, I was 50-50. I've now seen the live stream and actually I've decided it's not the one for us. And then you've got other people that are kind of really engaged, really excited because they've seen a live stream and then they're chomping at the bit to come and view it. So yeah, it's working out quite well.
Okay, cool. And what would you say to those people there, Matt, that, you know, say, well, we obviously want to get people round because it's only when you're truly in the house that, you know, some people that wouldn't have maybe thought this property was right for them just get that feel about it there. Is that overplayed, do you think, in terms of that, how often that happens, or is it just is that a price worth having, frankly, to be so much more efficient?
Yeah, I think like Peter put out earlier this week about the fact that the map's changing. So I think clients are thinking more digital first anyway. And that, I think, a Rightmove stats coming out that 60% of those consumers checked with said that they expect to see it digitally first. Now, we use Matterport tours, and we've had that client that said, I viewed it on the Matterport tour and I didn't engage with it. I viewed it on I viewed it on the live stream. It was one of the ones I did in the first weekend. And actually, I felt that I was there. And so she's booked a viewing off the back of it. She was actually a potential vendor, which turned into a vendor. So that's, you know, real good for us. I guess it will. It might cut out some of the people that would have just come. But, you know, you have tire kickers, and we all know that happens. That some people, if there's an opportunity to do an open day, they'll book a slot. They might not then turn up. Your staff members standing around for an extra 15, 20 minutes. And at least with this, you're there anyway. They can all be with you. And then the good ones, you'll go from a list of 16, you'll go down to 7 or 8 who are, I wouldn't say always chomping at the bit, but they are now engaged because they've asked the questions, they know which way the garden faces, they've looked back at the property, they've seen the rooms and those bits and pieces. And that's, for my staff's point of view, that's a real efficiency of their time. Then the viewings that we do are typically very engaged. One of the things that we get off the back of the live stream is that we get a recording of the video. So for someone that missed it, we don't go post it out on portal straight away, but for those that missed it, we are able to then share that video afterwards So if they miss the opportunity for the live stream, but we want them to see it first before viewing, then we can ping it over to them.
Excellent, thank you for that. And Joel, is that fair to say that's the same problems that Australian agents are seeing from getting from the service as well?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's very similar across both countries. And one of the important things I do when a new client comes on board is I ask the business owner a couple of simple questions: is what problem is Gavl solving, and how will you know if the problem is solved? What does success look like for them? And the underlying message coming back from the UK is that it takes up to 15 plus viewings to get a sale over the line. In some areas, 20. And so that's a huge time and cost burden for a business owner. So they want to reduce their viewing numbers. And I think just with COVID around, it's probably the problem. It's an underlying problem that's been there for years, but maybe it's just been low on the priority list. I think just with COVID around and everyone's sort of awareness of that, it's brought it right up to the top of the list. And just probably reiterating, the live component. There'll be a lot of viewers thinking, well, I can live stream on Facebook. What's so special about the live? And or I can just take a video and put it on Rightmove or on my website, and people can look at it. The key is getting that, trying to, as best we can digitally, get that emotional connection. And I always relate a lot of things back to sport, because people understand. Just think of yourself when you watch a game of football live on TV compared to if you watch a replay. It is just a totally different emotional event for yourself. And we're finding the feedback from the applicants is exactly the same. When they can watch a live viewing, we can probably go into it later, but we've built it with chat functionality where they can give the agent instructions, ask them questions, and it feels like the applicant is in charge of the camera, going to places where they want to go. There's also a couple of buttons on it where they can request physical viewing, or if it's a homeowner who's thinking of selling, even request an appraisal. And it's bringing that sort of realness where they're able to one, build a bit of a connection with the property, but also allow the agent and the applicant to start building that relationship. So we're finding it's beneficial for all parties.
Yeah, there's almost like a bit of a scarcity thing going on, is there? When they know that this thing's being launched, they've got to be on it there and then. It's using that live footy analogy.
Yeah, well, exactly. So it makes it, and the great thing about the app is each property has its own URL. So we're finding. Whenever you have something new, you're always trying to compare it to what you already know. So people understand Zoom, they understand Facebook, and we go, well, what's the difference? And there's a big difference. This is a purpose built for an industry. Zoom is by appointment only, invitation only. It's conferencing software, so it's not really relevant. I guess Facebook, we call it really. Facebook, you can't measure success. You get vanity metrics. I had 1,000 views, I had 2,000 views, and if you dig into it and ask an agent, what does that mean? They go, I don't know. It just looks good. It's a vanity metric. It doesn't really have much, substance behind it. Whereas, I guess with a purpose-built platform, which each property having its own URL, you're able to incorporate that URL in any of the portals on your social advertising. So effectively flushing buyers off of those sites and into your world. To be able to watch the viewing, there's a registration or a login process which allows you to capture their data. And a new little element which we'll be launching next week is we've also now built a landing page that agents are able to incorporate into their own website and invite the people to their own website, which is creating a enhanced SEO sort of process, plus keeping their database within their own ecosystem and adding, a real sort of value add to their offering.
So that's my ability to capture the leads and, of course, then nurture them from that point on. That's really one of the key factors why it sets it apart from other methods of doing these kind of digital launches.
Yeah, well, it's a lead gen, it's a data pipeline, because now the agents will be able to start to incorporate the live stream in their own website. It enhances their SEO, it's keeping it all within their ecosystem, and it's looking like a real value add to any future vendors, I guess.
Yeah. That's about obviously the reduction in the amount of viewing. How do we know, other than that the problem you've gone out to the problem being solved there. Are you able to give us any other sort of any other metrics or any other sort of examples of how you feel you've kind of just ticked it off?
Yeah, well, there was actually a really good post from Peter Lawrence and Rand that I stumbled across on LinkedIn the other day, where he was doing an interview with Stephen Brown and mentioned his viewing numbers 16 to 1, and in the space of 4 weeks of using Gavl, I've got them down to 4 to 1, which was astonishing to me that within the space of 4 weeks that he's got his viewing numbers down to 4 to 1. So still very early days, but what we're hearing from everyone is their viewing numbers are dropping dramatically.
And do you see it as being quite a seamless transition to the success you've seen in Australia? To obviously there are differences, not least the private viewing elements of that. But has it been really quite seamless in the way that actually the technology's been able to be adapted over here?
Well, it is a seamless process because it's not a complicated technology. We've all filmed something on our phone via the video, or we've done something via Facebook, and Gavl's no different. It's just an app. You literally just click into your property and press play, and the live stream away it goes. If you want to invite people along, as I said, each property has a URL. So for an agent, it's as simple as text messaging that to your database, email, or having it on the portals with an invitation, and they just link out. For a person to get a reminder about an upcoming viewing, the great thing about apps is you can set reminders and notifications and alarms and alerts to really engage people through push notifications. So there's some good elements there to be able to engage. And what we're finding, if you can bring like for Lawrence and Rand, 16 people, only one of those is going to buy the property. So it's in his mind, he's thinking, how do I screen out the other 15? How can I get 15, 16 down to 3 or 4? And they're finding through this process, this is the way to do it.
Excellent. When I was going to ask kind of Matt, what's the success you've seen with it being implemented in your own business? And indeed, Gary Hardy, hi Gary, he's just talking about time savings, obviously been huge for you, Matt. Have you done a cost analysis too? As I'm sure the cost saving is equally huge for staff time, fuel, etc. So yeah, you have been using it now a couple of months. Can you just give us a kind of a clue as to how it's working for you?
Yeah, I mean, we maybe conservatively we put a value on what each viewing costs us in terms of monetary. So staff member, time out of the office, and we put £7.50 on it. I mean, you could arguably put £10 on it if you wanted to, but say it was £7.50 in Worcestershire. We worked out, because of what we'd actually done in terms of reducing our number of viewings by 75%, we probably saved close to £9,000. And it's easy for me to say £9,000, which is a brilliant figure to kind of mention. But when and as we will go on and do more of this kind of analysis, that is the kind of the number we'll be hanging on to. We kind of predict that it's £7.50. And the cost, obviously, that Kerfuffle are going to be able to promote this at, that's probably about how much fuel you're putting in the car for the whole month. If you had one pool card doing all the appointments, that's the cost of live streaming. So yeah, I'm looking at the numbers even closer, but straight away. And also, what has it saved? If we saved kind of 450 viewings, we haven't been out there, that means we've been in the office more. Does that mean we've been answering a phone call 2 rings quicker? Does that mean we've been able to push a little bit harder to get a valuation because we're not rushing out to go and do another viewing? I hope that there's other increased revenue and income as a result of it as well. But I guess as the picture builds, I'm going to know more. But at this moment in time, I'm predicting £7.50 a viewing as a figure. 10 minutes there, 10 minutes back, 20 minutes on the appointment. That kind of works out to close to £9,000 saving now. So I'm happy with that so far.
No, you've got to be, haven't you? I mean, yeah, and we'll get to the deal that you've kindly done for Kerfuffle later. But I'm already thinking here that you're saying in my head that Kerfuffle essentially make sure your vehicles run for free. So we'll come back to that. But what I really like about what you said there, though, Matt, is that obviously a lot of people. I know you've been quite different to many agents in that you had most of your staff, throughout the whole lockdown period. You saw opportunities there, but it's very true, isn't it, that many businesses still haven't seen their furloughed staff come back, and even more so that businesses might have not brought back all staff at all. So they really are being asked to do more anyway. So efficiency savings like this are genuinely worth their weight in gold now more than ever, aren't they?
Without a doubt, yeah. I mean, people obviously, I talk about reimagining my business, and we've done some recruitment, and we've going into new territory in bits and pieces. But some people are kind of thinking, we're in too many places already. We need to go down to 3 branches instead of having 7. If you're going to do that, you need to make things more efficient. And like we said, if you can get someone out doing live streams every half hour for an afternoon, that has meant that you haven't got 6 people out doing different viewings in different places. And again, if that's the way you need to kind of reimagine your business, it will be an efficiency there within your staffing as well. So great opportunity for companies going forward.
And Joel, you spoke there about, obviously just touched on it there, but for those people that are kind of doing this already, using Facebook Live or Zoom there, what's the difference? Why should they use Gavl?
Yeah, so let's start with Facebook. As I said, in my eyes, it's a vanity metric. If an agent's message of success is to get 1,000 views, I would say go and use the social platforms. If your measure of success is you want to engage your data pipeline, your buying bench, you need to know who's there, you need to be able to follow them up afterwards, then you need a dedicated platform. So, the only problem with Facebook is you don't know who's on the other end of the line. It's also an open forum where, with ours you can have 10 people, but in terms of the chat functionality, it's only one way in which the agent can see what everyone's asking, but everyone else can't see, what everyone else is saying. So it builds that sort of intimate type feel in terms of they think they're getting a personal guided tour. I guess with Zoom or Google Hangouts, that's really just conferencing software by invitation only. So, we see ours as a way for an agent to use via invitation with their database of buyers, but also as a pipeline to be able to put that unique URL, on Rightmove or the advertising portals, and also, put it out on the social platforms to invite people along as well.
Were you trying this sort of stuff using things like Facebook before, or was Gavl really the impetus to do all of this? Gavl was my first real foray. So we do Matterport tours, and they came into their own obviously during the lockdown. So the vendors that had the Matterport tours were really seeing the benefit of that, because we weren't out doing any physical appointments on anything until we were allowed to officially. So this was my first step into it, and I thought, rather than doing something where I don't know if it's working, I'd rather bite the bullet, go for something that actually gives me that feedback. And it's nice because the agents, obviously, at the end, after the viewing kind of finishes, they get an email through. It has the list of everyone that viewed it. So you have everyone that viewed the property, all their phone numbers, and you also get a list of all the chats. So if you had someone specifically that was asking 3 or 4 questions, you're like, right, they're top of the list. They're really engaged on this. I need to get back to them quite quick. And I follow some great agents that do some really good Facebook Lives, but I don't know what the results are from it. There's a post out at the moment. Someone's got over 45,000 viewings on Facebook Live. Brilliant for brand, I'm sure. But I don't know if that's relating back to someone then went and viewed it. I phoned them. They gave me feedback. This is how it transpires. So we do a lot on Facebook. I mean, we do a lot of things that obviously promote the business, and I think that those are great. They work well for us. But this is a tool that helps us to sell properties or let properties in a quicker timescale, safer than anything else right now, but a more efficient way of doing it. And it really hits the mark. The
other thing to note about the Peter Lawrence video the other day, that he's transformed his agency to a stage now where you're not allowed to do a physical viewing until you've been through a live stream viewing. So he's implemented a 6-step process of how to sell a property, and he sees that much benefit of bringing all the people through a live stream as a first port of call. And you'd only do that if the engagement was there, if the process was there for him to be able to, a long-standing member of the real estate industry who's done things a certain way for a long time to, in the space of 4 weeks, transform his business to, you must come through a live stream before you step foot into the property.
I mean, there's times, isn't there, where you can take on some things where, it's a brand builder, and sometimes you don't need to worry too much about having detailed ROI stats. But for something like this, focused around such a key part of the business, it's an absolute godsend, isn't it, to actually have those statistics as to who's viewing and doing everything there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the good way to kind of complement the two things is when your valuer's kind of finished on the appointment, they got instructed on it. I was thinking about this the other day, and it's probably going to be the way that we're going to go. Is your valuer outside the property can go on Facebook Live there and then saying, just been instructed on great new instruction on Acacia Avenue. We'll live stream it later this week. Get in touch and we'll give you the link. That could be your boom, it's coming, and then actually then use your Gavl, because what you've done is you promoted the point that you're going to be able to collect their data afterwards, but you've still done a bit of Facebook Live, which again, as we know, is a good thing to promote your business. So we're progressing, we're improving our way of working with it. We've had it for 8 or 9 weeks now, I think. We know the numbers are there now. We can just really kind of work on each different way that we try and promote it to see how we can get them to spike even further. So
and it's just a part of the funnel. Facebook is just the top of the funnel. And I guess Gavl's the middle of the funnel now. We're working along with Matt and a couple others, the bottom end of the funnel now. That how can we even help, streamline this process of getting the numbers down to 3 or 4, and we're starting to work on some text message and email campaigns that are directly sent to the applicant straight after the viewing on behalf of the agency, or branded up to their liking, where thank you for coming along. Would you like one of a few things? A private physical viewing? We could even take it a step further. Would you like to speak to someone about mortgage advice, conveyancing advice? Would you like to put in an offer? So on and so on. So literally time the agent, opens his inbox. He's got 15 people. Here are the 2 that want a physical viewing. Here's the one that wants to speak to so and so. Here's this, and this. Really using technology to all the powers of technology, I guess.
Yeah, that's great. Like many people, they are looking at their businesses at the moment and trying to restructure them. And the thing is, do you feel the app has longevity, or is it like just of the moment, a fashionable thing here? Is it here to stay? I mean, clearly, I know where you're going to go with it.
Well, of course, I'm sure you're expecting my answer to be that it is here to stay, but I do think it's a bit of a culture change in our process, similar to the way Peter's doing it. Is when we launch a property, 3 days after the launch, where it's gone on to portals and things like that, the live stream will take place. So that is our first route for people to be able to see it. And I do see that staying as our routine, because why would we change from that? We're managing to get lots more people through the door without physically staying there for 2.5 hours. The staff prefer it. I think they kind of see the feedback, and they find it's a useful way of working across different parts. So like new builds and stuff like that, it's really worked for us to kind of build up the interest. So as long as we continue to see the numbers that we're seeing right now, then there's no way we'd ever change back. It would be daft for us to do so. And I think the fact that I kind of get the numbers sent through every Sunday morning or Monday morning from Gavl means I can quickly check off and see exactly how things are being improved. And I think it's something we will invest more in, if I'm honest with you. So more gimbals, all that kind of stuff. Just make sure that staff have all got everything they need to make sure it is literally perfect from their point of view.
I'm guessing as well, actually, those statistics, just on a separate point, they're a fantastic litmus test, aren't they, for the health of the market, the local market, aren't they? Because that's really giving you those key stats, really, as to who's in the market at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I've got got a good kind of friend circle of agents that are up and down the country, and they're all sharing their stats. I think kind of end of June was a time when people shared their stats. And I was kind of holding mine up at the same time as looking at theirs and thinking, brilliant, similar numbers, but you've just done double the amount of viewing. So it's nice for me to see that, yes, the market is up across the area, across the country, which is fantastic. But we can kind of see that we've done it, but we've done it more effectively and more efficiently. And yeah, I think right now our consumers, and I don't know if you're in the Property Academy thing yesterday, Simon, but with Janie Smith on there, you know, it's all about telling the people the numbers. You know, it is taking on average 16 viewings to sell a house in most areas, but with us, it's taken us 6 viewings to sell a house. A vendor's going to love that because they haven't got to tidy up 16 times, or, you know, they can have the house back within an hour, as opposed to keep going out, in and out, in and out. So that hopefully will be an instruction winner. I must admit, we've got to work on our marketing on it, but that is something that we're going to start sharing with our clients on that why choose us point. We'll be making that quite clear.
I think that's a really interesting point there. You know, it is a facet, isn't it? It's definitely a benefit of the system. And I think just going back to that wider point as well is, Joel, we've just spoken about, unfortunately, you guys down in Melbourne are just going back into lockdown. You know, this horrible thing, COVID, hasn't gone away. Just because many people are rolling up their sleeves and trying to get back to normality, there is a good, dare I say it, probably a majority of the country that still feels very, very nervous, and is likely to for a long time yet, aren't they?
Yeah, and I think that was Melbourne's biggest issue, that we all wanted to go back to normal, and I think, you know, stupidly we went back to normal, thinking if we act out like it's back to normal, it'll be back to normal. 3 weeks ago in Melbourne, we were averaging 2 cases per day. 3 weeks later, we're back in lockdown. So my phone and emails have literally ran off the hook today, and it's a very much a different conversation I'm having with agents than it was 3 months ago. I think 3 months ago they just thought, oh, we'll shut down for a month or whatever, and then we'll go back to normal. We'll just go on holidays for a month. This time around, they're going, we can't go on holidays again, and this is going to be going on for the next 12 months, 18 months, where we're going to be out of lockdown for a period of time, back into lockdown, out of lockdown, back into lockdown. So they're now planning further ahead than what they probably were 3 months ago. And I think they're looking at going, well, how do we, and it's probably hard to, but how do we COVID-proof our business, I guess. They're getting a lot more serious about, you know, digital engagement technology, I guess. Not, you know, I know there's a lot of prop tech around and all that sort of stuff, but the biggest issue at the moment for industry is, how do I engage people? How do I engage people when I can't do it physically? I have to do it digitally.
Yeah. And Matt, yesterday we were talking on the PropTech panel, and we were talking about the importance of not just selling the principals like yourself on the benefits of this, but actually it's so important to actually get the team, the staff, on board with it. Otherwise, you just won't see the benefits you do. So, talk us through how they've taken to it. You know, did it take a while for them to adapt? You know, do you have that classic example where some get on board with it very quickly? Just give us a clue as to how your team have taken it on.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite nice that yesterday when we were talking, a lady called Zoe Easton popped up a comment in the chat saying that Coral had been amazing helping her with tips. So, you know, my staff are giving tips to peers within the industry, which is great. It is very simple, as Joel mentioned. It's not reinventing the wheel in terms of actually what the staff member is doing. They, of course, when they're out doing a viewing with someone, they shouldn't be going out and pointing out where the light switches are and bits and bobs. They should almost feel it is that chance to shine. Okay, they don't know if there's 2 people watching it or 20 people watching it, but it's still the same kind of conversation. And that's the thing that we've kind of really seen with the staff, that they've improved the way that they've done it themselves. I've kind of given training videos, and I've given my opinion on kind of where to start and how to do it in bits and pieces. Christopher Watkins drops out some good videos on how to do live streams and video tours as well. But they seem really engaged. They seem to enjoy it. I think that they see the benefit of the time. So, you know, why wouldn't they like it? Because they're not standing out. I know the weather's hit and miss, but they're not standing outside for ages on these appointments. They're getting back into the office, answering the phones, back dealing with more portal leads, which could lead to more income for them. So they seem to be really engaged. Some, I think I will find, want a bit more training on it. You know, and they haven't asked me for it, and I'm there ready and willing and waiting. But I think some will kind of feel that they'll want to kind of watch their peers and think, yeah, I'd like to do it a little bit more like that. How should I be doing it? But you know, that's progression of a career anyway. With a member of staff, as they go through the ranks, if they want to become a valuer, they need to be able to present. You know, they need to be able to pitch themselves and pitch our business. So I can see it kind of progressing from that point of view. But staff seem to love it, and it's nice to be speaking to other agents that are now using it as well. What we've been quite careful about is with Matt Hayter, who does all the demos for us. He doesn't have to do them to the branch principal. We recommend that we get the administrator engaged, we get the sales managers engaged, we get the viewing staff engaged, because then we can actually show them what the benefits are, not just the numbers, because like you say, branch principal is going to love the fact that the numbers are good, but actually how the process works. That's kind of a good way of doing it as well.
Simon, just to touch on what Matt said in terms of it's quite simple and how easy it is. So, and quite, that is actually, like, for me to set up a new account, it's probably a 2-minute job. I'll just email out to the administrator, here's your logins, and a couple of videos to watch in terms of, one, how to load a property onto the site, and 2, how to set your inspection time. And that's it. It's not, I get it with software. What sort of integration do we need? CRM, is there training? How are we going to organise? It can be a headache. There's literally none of that. This sits outside of that ecosystem. For the agents, how to press play. For the administrator, how do I put a property on the site? That's it.
Great. And Gary's just jumped in with another question here, and I don't know if you can answer this, but he says, "Hi Joel, how do you see AI playing a part of your product going forward, if at all? If you're anything like me, you'll just pretend that it's in there, but I'm a different sort of person." So,
I think everyone's trying to solve the AI holy grail, aren't they? How can we track everyone's movements all around the world? So, my kids are on TikTok at the moment, and my wife, I think as of yesterday, just deleted all their apps because supposedly our good friends across the ocean are tracking all our data. But good question. I don't know. I think at some stage AI is going to play a part in it all, in terms of, software will know what properties we're looking for or we like before we even know we like them. But I think we're still a long way off. They've been talking about AI for a bloody long time. So I think, we'll keep it as what we know, which is, let's keep the relationship going with human to human, even though it's got to be digital.
Yeah. We always call it machine learning if we don't want to take it down a level, don't we? But anyway, so what would you say to those people who, obviously it's been a really, really tough time, still is. So for those agents that obviously don't have the budget or don't have a rainy day fund at the moment for tech, what would you say to someone like that?
Yeah, well, I get it. It's a tough time. I think it's a tough time for everyone. I think the biggest issue, with any software, and I know we've got more subscriptions than when I last looked in our business, we've got over 30 subscriptions, and generally they want to lock you in for 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. And that's probably the bigger issue more than actually what the price is. So we're willing to sort of help, I guess, in that regard, and doing a rolling month by month, where someone can go, I really want to give this platform a go, but I don't want to commit for ever and a day. And I'd love to be able to, jump in, have a little bit of skin in the game. I don't care, what it is, but if it's not working for me, we can just pretty much shake hands and away we go. So the biggest part of it is I guess that you're not going to be beholden to it. I don't know if you want to, we roll out the special now, Simon, but in terms of what it's going to cost a branch per month, it's only £100. £100 a month.
You're the sort of person that opens their presents before Christmas, aren't you? But
yeah,
go on then. Give us. You've been really
I always got to open one the night before, but £100 a month for unlimited use per branch, and I think, as Matt explained before, he's saving $9,000 a month, so it's a pretty good return on investment, I think.
I like that. That was really punchy. You don't need to say too much after that, do you? And I noticed Matt's remaining quiet there, because at that price, it sort of seems a bit cheap. Seems a bit cheap, but he won't.
I helped. Obviously, I kind of helped with pricing, actually, and there's no.
I bet you did.
It's so cheap.
But with that said, I know as an agent that everyone comes to you for 400 quid for this a month, and then it will solve your problems for you. And actually, this time of life and this time of the market, that's the last thing you want to be committing to. So what we're doing is exclusive for a period of time, because we want people to understand it, use it, and find the benefits of it. And then, if Joel puts the price up in 2 years' time, so be it, because everyone would have been using it, engaged with it, and understand what return it's given them. But you know, when you bring in something like a product like that to the UK, the last thing you want to try and do is make it exclusive by costing so much. And the support, I mean, it is a bargain. It's cheap as chips anyway, but like the support and stuff, the thing that we're adding in. So I don't know if Matt can share the link to our website, but that web page module, that's actually, but the web page module that Joel talked about, they've got that onto our website now. So if anyone wants to jump on there, you can see, and that was added in within the last 3 weeks. We hadn't requested it. It's just that Gavl are always considering what's the next thing that we need to be doing for the UK agents. And there's all these progressions. So the SMS text messaging thing, we'll be obviously beta testing that with them. And these are all kind of add-ons that I didn't sign up because of those things initially, but they're still thinking we could add that in. We need to do this next. And they do. I've got the list next to me. They're listening to the agents that have already signed up about what's the next thing we can solve for you. How can we make this work better? Obviously, CRM integration is going to be something that we want to get involved with, and the more power we have from that, the more power we have from more agents joining up, then we can kind of get that linked up. Gary Barker was on yesterday. We were a repeat client, and I'm sure that they'll be open to it. We just need a few more, and obviously when Foundations kicks in, that CRM integration will be amazing. So yeah, I'll go back to the point. I helped with pricing, and I'm glad as a UK agent, everyone can take advantage of it.
It's great, and just what you touched on there, though, that I think is really important when we have our conversations offline, is, Joel, you are seeing that you're taking this very seriously, aren't you, in terms of launch? This isn't like it's not like a punt way some people do. They just put it into a market and see if it floats. You're really trying to think about the vagaries, the niche differences with our marketplace here, and again, how the product can change to help them out there.
100%. You know, the key to any tech platform is what, you know, you got to understand what problem are you solving, and that's why we liaise or consult with industry, you know, regularly. We need to know, you know, what problem we're solving, and we need to know if we've solved it, how you're going to measure it, and also, you know, it's a tough one. If you throw out too many, you know, wish list questions to agents, they'll come back with a list a mile long. So we have to, you know, manage expectations to say, listen, we're not going to rush out and build all this sort of stuff, but we want to get as much feedback as we can, and then start to listen in terms of what are the common sort of themes, and then work, you know, with industry in terms of building that. But you know, ultimately, this is not a COVID fix. There's an underlying, and this is the main thing that comes from the business owners. The underlying issue is it takes, in some areas, up to 20 viewings to sell a property. That's got nothing to do with COVID. There's just so we're solving an underlying problem. It probably wasn't a big enough problem to address it, but I think now it always takes, you know, that one day, whenever it happens, that industry decides, well, this problem needs addressing. And I guess in some ways, you know, we were fortunate enough that we had a platform already for industry that was in auctions, but we could, you know, purpose fit it for the viewings.
Yeah, obviously Peter Lawrence has just jumped on and said, obviously the team seem to love it. Hi Peter, how are you doing? And also obviously makes the point, massive time saver, just reiterating obviously everything you've been talking about there. We were 16 viewings to, yeah, now it's full happy days, as he said there. Matt, so you are also a member of the Land and New Homes Network. How have you been able to use Gavl to help you out there?
Yeah, it's well, we're using it in pitches now, which is great. So it's a unique service proposition just from our point of view when we go out to win a site, because developers want you to be obviously promoting their properties in the best possible way. So if you can do something that's going to attract more eyeballs, then obviously why wouldn't they choose to use you? But from a site safety point of view, if you can't take people down to the back end to look at plot 14, then you can live stream it. And that's another way that we're using it. So we've got a great site that's about to launch at the end of this month. It's well advanced, to be honest. We're quite lucky to have it so advanced. But the whole point was that the first way we're going to launch this to the whole market is we're live streaming it. So we'll get everyone in the village to know about it. We'll be putting posters up in the shops and all that kind of stuff. We'll build up a real hoo-ha so that everyone kind of gets to see it. And then what if Mrs. Miggins likes it and tells her daughter, there's a new house that's just come on the market around the corner, why don't you come and have a look? You know, that's what we're expecting to kind of build off the back of it. So Kevin and Ian, I think Ian kind of was involved in the recent presentation that Joel and I did to the Land and New Homes Network members. and he's already speaking to some of the agents that have signed up, and they're seeing the benefits of it as well. We obviously have the ability to speak to builders. You know, we don't really want to. We want to talk to agents first, but if agents aren't going to adopt it and use it, then there's a chance there for another market where we don't really want to see Redrow using it necessarily, but you'll find that developers will start to adopt it. We want to keep it in our industry as opposed to theirs, but yeah, there's a chance out there.
Cool. And I mean, obviously, famously, lettings is a fast-moving market. Are you using it on the letting side of things?
Yeah, we are. So we're not actually doing any viewings with anyone. We're getting applications off the back of the live streams. So then if they do their application, obviously tenant fee ban came in, so a lot of people are applying for properties. If they're successful with their application, then we'll go and show them, as opposed to doing it the other way, which is, I mean, the numbers that Joel talked about, 20 to 1, lettings can be even busier than that, to be fair. Yeah. You're dealing with all these inquiries constantly. But because you've made it accessible, and when someone inquires for a property, you say, yep, go and view it. This is how you're going to view it. We're there on Thursday, 4 o'clock. Join us on the live stream. Here's your link. Get signed up. Anyone else that keeps calling in, they get the same kind of conversation. And then once they've had the live stream, if they're interested, then we can get them registered. If they want to put an application forward, we can get into the nuts and bolts of what they are, you know, looking for, or their employment situation, bits and pieces. And then if they're successful with an application and the owner likes their offer, the landlord likes their offer, then they can come and physically view it. So again, just being more efficient, because forgetting COVID-19, lettings has always been bonkers, isn't it? There's always been a lot of people wanting to view each property, and some feel that they don't get the chance. You know, they miss that first hour slot that you dedicated to have a member of staff out there, and then you say, well, you can't view it till next Friday, but actually it'll probably be let from that first block of viewings. They're gutted. So if you can let them all view it and then do your sorting out afterwards, it seems to be good from a renter's point of view as well as the landlord's point of view. So yeah, I mean, we do have a good lettings business, and Sarah was one of the first, my lettings manager was one of the first to give me a testimonial on it, because she just said it's been a game changer for them. You know, absolutely just saved them so much time.
Are you using it at all to prospect? So, you know, do you actively target people in the area to let them know that, for example, a house down their street is going up for sale as well, or?
No, but great idea. No, we've not. As I said, with the new build bit, it worked quite nicely in a little village where we had 3 units going on the market. Then we did, you know, kind of do a bit of prospecting in the area, and we made sure it was in the village shop and bits and pieces. But no, I think there's still things that we're learning, if I'm honest with you. Obviously, I think we've all been short of time coming back into the market. We've all got so many things that we have to do that we probably still haven't refined and really improved how we can do it. Paul Long's helped us with the social media piece very quickly, so we know how to get the events onto our social media. There's like a 7-point plan that he's given us, which has been, you know, absolute blessing for us, really. So we can just say, right, do this each time. And that's been really useful. But no, there's still things we can do. Prospects, as you say, is one of those things. We use CCT, we'll use Ignite through Land and New Home Network, and so we could do that hyper-targeted marketing. The thing is, we'll have to do it on a property that's got, you know, a week or 2 away from launching. So new build's going to be our first option. We'll do it through the live stream, and then we are going to get even more people on those live streams. So very exciting.
And in a functional sense, how does a member of the team actually add on a new instruction?
Well, in terms of, there's a dashboard, so they'll have access to the dashboard. Gets even login details. When they jump onto the dashboard, there's a couple of ways you can do it. Firstly, you can just drop them on manually, so you can just put in the address, that long bits and pieces, pull across your bullet points, and set up the time. But the easy route that we've been using, and this is something that Gavl brought in quite quickly when we fed back to them, is that they can pull it from a Rightmove link. So your listing, obviously all the images attached to it, so you can just literally drop in the Rightmove link. And when you've dropped the Rightmove link in, it pulls all the photos, pulls the description, and all you literally do is have to choose who the agent is that's going to do the live stream and the time and day that you want it to happen. And then once you click save, it gives you 3 links. It gives you the link that you want, which is a short URL, and you just post it on everything you've got, social media, portals. We do it every day as well. If you market yesterday on PropTech 3.0, with our mailer, we do a mailer every single morning. And we literally, it's where it will be today. And we've got a great engagement from those, because I think there's probably a few people, and I don't know the statistic, but I know there's a lot of people that are kind of saying, I really think about moving here. COVID-19 made them start to think it. So our database is getting an email each day, which is kind of saying, look, don't come and physically view with us, but where you're sat, you can join us at 12 Larkspur Road or whatever, you can join us, and you're getting a few of those people that are just in the kind of research thinking, I haven't got to go anywhere for it. I might watch. We call them the next day and hope we can evaluate on there. So.
Yeah, great. And what other ways, you mentioned Paul Long there, obviously fantastic. What's the best way to promote the properties on the app to get people to watch a live stream?
The best way to promote it. So, as I said, the direct mailers is something that we recommend doing every day. Put out on all the portals. So where the live tour and the virtual tour links are, you can make it quite clearly there. We've actually updated our own website so that in the description you have a hyperlink so you can drop on that. But when you're looking at Facebook, we've found that if you set up in the morning an event, much like you do for all your kerfuffle things, if you set up an event, then you have that essentially ripple effect that someone goes on to their interest in doing, it's into their platform where everyone, all their friends see what they're looking at, and it just spreads and spreads and spreads. So we're still testing it, making sure that it's the best way to do it, but that appears to be getting us the best results. I haven't got the slide, but Joel and I looked at one that we did, and we've been putting single post out for each property, putting a Matador gift style video plus the link in it, and it was getting a few clicks. And then we did this other post, which was on a Saturday morning, very similar to our EDM. It basically said, this is where we are today, and each one on the carousel had its own link. And I can't remember the number, it was like 480 clicks or something like that. So that for us, again, we didn't get many likes, we weren't after likes, but you got 480 people clicking on that, which sent them through to the Gavl app, which actually showed them the time and availability for that live stream. So, we're still testing it, but it seems to be working quite well.
Excellent. And you mentioned Ian Stratford there from Land and New Homes Network. I noticed one of the, obviously on your landing page on Kerfuffle, Ian's actually giving you a really rosy a review here. He says, Gavl has become a key partner to many of our clients to deal with viewing demand and, importantly, give them the ability to interact and liaise with buyers during the live stream. It allows estate agents to avoid wasted time while also enhancing the customer experience. So that's a really nice, succinct, summary of everything you've been talking about here, Matt, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I think so. I think time, and you're going to see on our marketing campaign that's coming out shortly, that time is not of the essence, not just for your kerfuffle meal, but time is a very important commodity for a lot of people, and it is the one thing that Gavl will for you. There's so many different benefits, but time saving is a very clear. From the first day that you use it, you'll save time. You'll save time from not spending all that time at the office. You'll get more people to the property without physically being there. It's just, it's been fantastic, and I can't wait to kind of reflect back on a longer period. I mean, we've been doing the numbers on this last kind of 9 weeks, but on a longer period, and really kind of see at the end of this year what the last half of our year looked like versus the last half of last year. And yeah, where we've made some efficiencies, I think it's going to relate to Gavl.
Well, definitely share that back with us when you've got those stats. That'll be fascinating to know. And just on your point there, yeah, obviously, hi Matt. If anyone does want to reach out, you can find them in the normal place. They're on the you've got obviously the landing page on Kerfuffle, but you can go straight out to matt.hater@gavl.com.au, or you've got his Calendly link, calendly.com/Matt-Hater as well. So guys, thank you very much for that. Do you want to just give us thanks once more for obviously giving us all this information? I think it's an absolute obvious tool for the job restructuring of many of our businesses. I think it says a lot about the confidence that you're not tying people in for long contract terms that sometimes weaker propositions do fall for. Could you just summarise again for us just the deal you've done for the Kerfuffle members though again, Joel?
Yeah, well, it's 50% off, and that's for the rest of the year. And I think the key part to it, it's good having 50% off. It's more money in your pocket, but the key is the no contract term. So it's a rolling contract. If you feel like it's not working for you after a month or 2 months, then we're happy to shake hands and walk away. As I said, integration is very simple. It's a 5-minute job to set up an account. Literally, administrator put a property on and how to press play. So I guess what I'm sort of coming to is if there's ever a time to use a platform like this, I guess the time is now. Integration's easy. It doesn't cost a lot. You're bound by contracts, and I think as Matt's explained, and when Pete Lawrence jumped on before, they're getting really good results.
That's brilliant. Well, thank you very much for thinking of our Kerfuffle members. That's really, really kind of you. We'll obviously share that out with all of them there as well. Matt, great to see you again. I'll probably be seeing you again soon, I guess. And Joel,
tomorrow.
Thanks for us, and I hope you don't miss social contact too much. But we will catch up soon, and it'll be fascinating to see how it comes on. And Gary's just finished the session, just saying really interesting session, guys. So thank you very much for your time, guys. I look forward to catching up soon.
Cheers.
Thanks, Bailey.
Cheers.